Yes team, what is up? In this video, you're in for a bit of a treat because I'm joined by Nancy, who is a very well established coach living here in Dubai from Australia and has absolutely crushed the Australian market. Her business over the last few years has done tremendously well, but she's at a point now where she's hit a bit of a roadblock and she doesn't know how to break through her current plateau. She's tried a lot of things, she's invested a lot of money, and she's stumped on what she needs to do.
We just don't know what's going on lately. So it used to be a setter issue and there was too much stress around hiring and firing setters that just didn't get it. And then we had account problems where I lost the account.
So we sat down and looked at her business of where it currently is, where she wants to get to, and what we feel is holding it back.
When we had that running, but there was no conversions from that. We got followers, but the bottleneck is the actual conversation part of it.
In this coaching session, I had one clear outcome, and that's to help Nancy get from where she currently is to where she wants to be in terms of revenue. And it was us looking at the business and the different layers of it, of what's actually holding that back. So a huge focus of ours was around DMs.
It's not so much a lead issue, it's more getting the conversation going. So we get a lot of the ghosting happening. So I guess I'm really keen to dig into that.
So you're going to take a huge amount from this coaching session in terms of your own DMs as we look through how can we get more conversations started, what is the DM flow like, and what are the potential things that are holding Nancy back and why she's getting ghosted in the DMs, and what's ultimately going to get her more calls booked in the short term.
New followers, getting them to actually reply, because now we're at the point where I am voice noting them and even saying their name in the voice note. And it's just like, how much more leverage can I possibly do?
I helped Nancy identify the biggest growth opportunities she has in her business that she's not currently doing. So stay tuned, not only for fixing the DMs, but the new strategy for her and her business. Nancy, what is up? So just to kind of give an insight into the business and other areas that you're doing. So from an offer perspective.
So we sell the 12-week program.
Okay, 12 weeks.
And that is at 2,475 Australian dollars.
Okay.
But if someone is quite overweight, that's when I will sell the 6 months. If not, we just pop them on monthly payment plan.
Monthly payment for the full 6 months.
Yeah, 825 per month.
And then platforms, so Instagram, LinkedIn, are you doing any long form?
Nothing, that's it.
Just Instagram, LinkedIn. Have you ever considered doing any podcasts, YouTube, anything like that?
No.
Any reason why?
I don't know, I just,
Never even.
Never even.
But I think another huge thing for you will be people getting to know you more and getting a deeper understanding into you and your personality. So I know obviously you're good at showing like lifestyle bits, but I think like a deeper meaning into you, your values, like how you come across in that way will be like super valuable. Getting people to buy into you a lot of times is going to come through like what I'd like to say like bingers are buyers. So if people are like binging your content and getting to see a lot of you, there's a higher chance that they're going to be wanting to buy.
Yeah.
So like doing some long form content can really help around that. So I'll just put YouTube in there as a question mark. Cool. I would say as well, getting clearer on positioning of like, because you say, you know, like women over 40s, also like 70 kilo woman, and then all the different cheat sheets. And this is something I actually have down for later, just looking through the Instagram. I think there's a lot of like conviction in your messaging, but I don't think it's clear on exactly who you help. So a big thing for me with you would be even on like the trial reels, testing the angles there, and then if you kind of get one that works, being clear on your messaging and positioning. How can someone look at it and really identify with me? So like the women over 40 is one angle, but it's like, is there an area we can kind of even delve deeper into that? And then I'm wondering like the women over 70 kilos, is a thing of that maybe not hitting as much because you've never been in that position yourself?
But there's my audience, no one's petite.
Okay, interesting.
That's the thing.
From building it already?
Yeah, they don't go to the gym.
Okay.
They're definitely not my size.
Okay.
Like even people my height that I consult, they're like, oh, because I'm like 48 kilos. They're like, oh, you know, I'm 5'2", and oh, I'd be happy at 60. 60 is like overweight for someone my size. Do you know what I mean?
So the 5'2", would a lot of them be like shorter in height, or is it?
5'2" is my height, so they're pretty much my height, but like they're weighing like over 70.
Okay, so then we don't talk about petite, we talk about for like a shorter female. So you could go down the height route, but not necessarily the petite route.
Yeah.
Because you'd be, because if they saw like, let's say a taller girl and they're talking about fat loss, someone who might be 5'2" might be like, oh yeah, but it's tougher for us because we might have to drop our calories lower or this and that. Whereas for you, you're like, no, I get it because I'm 5'2", I know this has to happen, that has to happen.
Yeah.
So you could maybe play on that angle of the height as opposed to the petite side of things. But what I would say on that, the good thing with this is you don't have to change your, as you said, your audience wouldn't be receptive to that now, but that's the benefit of the trial reels because you can test it and trial it.
Yeah.
And let's say if one of them popped off and you're like, got like 3,000 followers through from one specific trial reel, now all of a sudden you're like, oh, now I will have an audience of who can like resonate with that type of messaging.
Yeah.
So it'd be more like a gradual thing as opposed to like change all your messaging, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Ads wise, just give me a bit of a recap on spend and what you're doing.
We did 4 boost reels. I got 1,000 followers from that, but the ad spend was a lot because it was 25 Australian dollars per day per reel. So, or 28, I think it was 28. So it was like $111 or $12 per day. And we had that running, but there was no conversions from that. We got followers, but the like I said, the bottleneck is the actual conversation part of it. So I've stopped all ads and there's nothing running at the moment. We've only got the mini chat one, which is a photo of me. It's got my stats on there and it says, do you want to find out your calories? And it takes them through a funnel and that creates a lot of conversation for us. And that's when we try to sell the $2 program to them. But then obviously we use that as a funnel to have the conversation.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, something we'll get back to on the ads. I just wanted to kind of get a recap. Have you ever done any like middle of funnel? So that would be like more like retargeting. It would essentially be running ads that just go to that 35,000. Is that something you've ever done? No. Okay, cool. So even just to show you that quick. If this is like a lead funnel for you, what you're currently doing are when you have been running it, there's like strangers who are here and you're essentially like bringing them into your funnel. So top of funnel. But why you're probably noticing conversion not to be high is, yes, some of them will convert, but a lot of them don't know you, like you, or trust you yet.
Yeah.
So these people then in the funnel here, who would be like more middle of funnel and then down to the bottom, they're going to be your warmer leads. So we can run ads that are specific just for these people. So then our conversion off the back of that's typically going to be a lot higher because they've been in your world for longer. Yeah. So we'd see benefit of running both. Like it is important to bring people in the top, but it's also then important to have maybe a different marketing message going to people in the middle. So that would be something that I'll be kind of saying to you about one step to take. Okay, conversion pathway. So it's basically like DM to book a call, pretty much. Yeah, so they either comment lose, that's from my bio. Yeah. And then the AI takes over because we've got all the keywords and stuff. And then all the call to action words on the reels, like plan, calories or whatever. And then they'll go into the inbox and the first thing that we say is, hey girlfriend, thanks for the comment. How much weight would you like to lose? And then it starts from there. Okay, cool. So yeah, DM to call. Do you get many people booking directly through so I know in your bio Never. You have, I would potentially move that to application form. So the way I'll get you to think about that is sometimes people would be interested, but if you think about it from a commitment, I always think about getting someone to inquire for like the lowest commitment. So booking a call is like the highest commitment needed by a lead because they're essentially booking for a call. Whereas an application form, people are more likely to fill it in. So for my fitness business, I literally had the application form as name, Instagram handle, why are you interested in joining? Like 3 questions, didn't ask much at all. And my goal from that was I literally just want people to raise their hands for us to know they're interested and then get the setter to reach out. Okay, so I wouldn't use my pre-screening form, it'd be a different form. Yeah. I keep it like super simple and then just a message saying, hey, we'll reach out to you on Instagram. Because if you think about it, if you know, okay, our conversions come best when we're in conversations with someone to get a book call. Because then they're coming too cold on the call when they book themselves and when you haven't had the chat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's why you nearly don't need the screening questions in either because it's like we're going to be reaching out and having a chat. Anyway. Okay, what have you tried that hasn't worked? So I know you talked through a few things there, like top of funnel ads being one. Anything else like in, let's say, the last year that you're like gave something a good go and it just didn't really perform? Well, I wasn't doing enough content last year. I know that. Like I've only just started filming content and doing all that, so I was slacking off there. Yeah. And I was having a lot of trouble last year with like
the setters, hiring, firing, like all of that.
Yeah. Okay. Some inconsistencies that find it hard for you to know exactly.
Just a consistent team, you know, and structure with all of that.
Kind of going into the end, what do you think the bottleneck is and why? So
New followers, getting them to actually reply, because now we're at the point where I am voice noting them and even saying their name in the voice note, and it's just like, how much more leverage can I possibly do? We just don't know what's going on lately. We used to use the one, hey, thanks for following along, whatever. I'm from Melbourne, currently living in Dubai. You also from Melbourne? And then that stopped working, and we thought maybe it's a privacy thing where they don't want to tell us where they're from, you know?
Yeah.
And then we did, are you here for the recipes, the Dubai life, or, you know, general health and well-being, or do you have some goals and stuff? So, yeah.
And
I feel like they know it's coming. It's like we're about to sell them something.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you tried like straight into like a value-based one, like right off the cuff?
Like as in, do you have some goals to hit, or?
No, almost like, hey, appreciate the follow. I actually just put together an XYZ thing. Would you like me to send it over?
Oh, okay. I think we used to send them over like a meal plan booklet and stuff like that. I've made a free guide. Would you like me to send it across? And then they'd ghost. And then some of them would say yes. So yeah, we've done that before, but maybe can try it again. Do it a different way.
So what I would do if you're kind of in a position you are now where you're struggling of like knowing the best message, I would actually go like a new follower.
I know you told me to do this last time, like send four outbounds, then track your response rate on all that. Yeah,
and did you get any like higher performing one from
yeah,
that?
we were running with the one that said, are you here for recipe ideas and stuff? And then when they said yes, we'd then go in and say, okay, great, I put so much recipes on my page. Do you want, just so I know what to fill more of, are you here for weight loss recipes, or are you just maintaining your weight? And then we'd continue the conversation from there.
Okay.
But nothing's been like amazing, like, you know.
Yeah. Have you done the are you here for the content or like on your own fitness journey?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So that still ends up being my favorite one that I'll always go back to. So it's basically like, hey, appreciate the follow. Are you just here enjoying the content, or have a fitness goal that you're working towards, or have a fat loss goal that you're working towards?
I think when they said just enjoying the content, it's like, well, where do you go from there?
Yeah, so I think you can still, so I'll be like, oh, amazing, I'm actually filming some content in the next few days. Is there anything specific you'd like to see around like fat loss, menopause? Like you could like name a few things. And then whatever they say back to you is the thing that they're like working towards.
Obviously working towards.
So if someone's like, oh, some fat loss content would be great, and we're like, amazing, we'll definitely get some films. Is there anything specific that you'd be interested around fat loss, whether it be like meal ideas, this or that, blah, blah, blah. And then when they get back to you on that, be like, oh, is this something you're working towards now? How's it going for you? Happy to share a bit more context for your own journey, and you've kind of like moved them back in nicely.
Yeah.
And like even so for me, because like I from a DM perspective, when I'm working with fitness coaches who are a lot more sophisticated about DMs than like the general population would be, like I still use the message, are you just here enjoying the content, or potentially looking for guidance to scale your business?
Yeah, that's very forward, isn't it?
Yeah, so forward. But sometimes I almost think people like the directness. You know, and that's something I would say to you with DMs. Like that's something I found.
We haven't tried that.
Being a bit more, yeah. So like for me, with like you know what you said about like people know what's coming. So I've literally done a message where I've said I've opened up spaces and just reaching out to see if you're potentially interested. And honestly, even the people said no, were like, oh, thanks for linking me, but I'm actually okay. Like the reception of it was so good, because I think people just actually appreciated the forwardness of you just being like outright with it. Like I think if you present it in the right way of.
So then if they say that they're fine, what do? Just use them as a follow-up?
Yeah, so that is the.
Because it just cuts it off, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So the upside is cuts the bullshit and gets right to the point. Downside is it is quite like you know, as you said, like it kind of like can kill the conversation for the time being at least. So I wouldn't do it I think for a new follower message, that's like a nice in between, or like, are you just here enjoying the content? Are you potentially interested in some guidance around your fat loss? Because if they say content back to that, it doesn't actually kill it directly. Obviously you can go back with that message, but you also need to understand they've just started following you, so they could feel a lot different in a month's time. And what's really valuable, if that conversation ends up dying out, why I really love having some long form videos done is then you can send them that. So I've actually done so if you think about like, okay, what's the one clear thing that a lot of people will come through and kind of have a problem, if that's the first YouTube you film and you're like, we're just going to send this out in the DMs when the conversation dies out.
We've got a VSL.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And when they watch the VSL, they're like, oh, I feel like you're talking to me in that video, you know, so it's good when they watch it.
Yeah, great. So I would even use that, go back to the content fitness goal message for the new follows. If someone says content, still try to keep the conversation going with like, I'm filming the next few days, what would you like to see it around? If the conversation dies out, or if someone stops replying, I would use that VSL as like either follow up or like, hey, like in the meantime, hopefully you take some value from this.
Yeah, so the ones that are ghosting us that we've gone in, because our follow-up message is, hey girlfriend, hope I haven't said anything wrong. Then they're like, oh, no. You know, I've just got busy with the kids and stuff. So it makes them feel bad.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't even reply to that. It's just like, gosh, where do we go from here, you know?
Yeah.
But now you're thinking just go back in and just shoot over the VSL.
So yeah, I would, it's a real, like for, again, one of the best follow-ups I find is going value based. So if you've done like one follow-up and they haven't replied, and like, okay, this person right now isn't interested. It doesn't mean they won't be interested, but right now. So if I give them another nudge or just circling back or whatever, it's probably 9 times out of 10 not going to work. So instead of being like, hey, I just wanted to check in again. I actually filmed a breakdown going through XYZ. You want me to shoot it over to you?
Yeah.
And that does really well for response. So you're essentially being like, hey, this conversation has lost momentum. I'm going to re-energize it through value.
Okay.
And that works quite well as like an invitation.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay, cool. So if we look at everything from a pipeline, so why I like to track the numbers, look at the numbers from this area, is we'll kind of see what is a bottleneck or like one of the outliers. So because essentially the goal is more calls booked to more clients. So seeing where that's coming from. So inbound, I think you said 10 per day kind of comments on the...
Yeah, I think that's what it referred.
About 10 per day.
That's one I sent you this morning, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay, cool. 10 per day. Outbound, so I know you do 100 follow-ups a day is what they aim for with your team.
So with the AI, it doesn't do follow-ups after 24 hours if they don't reply, and then it falls into we jump into the back end and it says who needs to be followed up. So then we have to manually do the follow-ups, and then the AI will take over with that. So once we do the follow-up, it goes back into the funnel and stuff.
Yeah. And obviously new followers will be...
They need to be messaged by us.
Messaged by you.
And I've been trying the voice note as the first one just to see if that would get it going. And Arifa said out of all the ones I did, she goes, you got 5 responses back. And I'm like, God.
Well, interesting. I actually don't necessarily, I think, so we'll change the new follower one to the content, and where I think your voice note one could work well is going through your existing followers. So I would go A to Z. So I'd click on your followers. Yeah. I'd go A to Z.
Yeah, we do that and then just type in anyone's name starts with A, like Annabelle, Anna.
Yeah. And then go through all days, then move on to B, and literally go through like your 35,000. So it'll be like a mission to get through.
Yeah.
But I would have that. So I would look at priority for
Is
messaging.
this to send them something you're saying?
Well, I actually think the voice note could work well.
To say what?
So funnily enough, last 3 clients that have signed up with me have all been people I've had conversations with before. I did a 12-second voice note that was like, hey, so it was personal. So it was like, hey name, your name actually popped up. So I just said I'd check in. How's everything going on your end? Hope all is well, but looking forward to hearing from you. Literally just kept it like very broad that way. And work.
Because sometimes I scroll through the conversation and then they would have spoken to me, say the end of last year, and they told me they had 10 kilos to lose. So then I'll just really personalize it, and I'll be like, how did you go with the 10 kilos you had to lose in December? Are you trying anything at the moment? Where you're currently at? So I'll really personalize it.
Yeah. Well, that's, to be fair, more personal the better. The only thing I would potentially see, like if that gets a great response rate, good. If it wasn't and you're scratching your head as to why not, the only thing I could think of there is they probably haven't lost the 10 kilos.
And they feel like shit.
Yeah, they feel like shit for saying it. So if you kind of keep it broader, like, hey, just said I check in, like, how's everything going? Then they'll be like, oh, do you know, things aren't going great.
You're right. It could work against us.
Yeah, it could work against you by...
Because then they're just like, oh, it's been like nearly a year and I'm still the same weight.
Well, it's personality types, isn't it? Because someone who's kind of like they might be self-deprecating on themselves. It would probably work well for them. They're like, oh, no, I'd be like, I'm embarrassed to say I'm still in the same spot. But then there'll be people with a different personality type that they're like, oh, I don't even want to like admit that's happened to me. Okay, so so we have about 100 follow-ups. How much would you say with so it'll be like 120, 130 messages, because you said it was about conversations. I think you said 10, so there's about like 10 to 12 kind of like active conversations going. So what we mean by that is how many people are
Back
actually
and forth.
replying to the, so yeah, you kind of highlighted that as the key area of improvement, of like, we just need more people replying.
Yeah.
So I actually think everything else you mentioned around calls offered from that was like around 2. Calls booked from that average around like 1. So this is at like 2.
But you know the ghosting, right? Forgot to mention, because we send the pre-screening form. They read the pre-screening form and then they freak out because of the pricing there. So that's another thing, right? But we have tested not sending pre-screen form, and of course I'll get heaps of calls booked in, but I'm on calls all day with brokies.
Yes.
So that's why I'd rather take less calls and then just get it out there with the price.
Yeah.
So all the question is, if we were to meet your goals and get you your dream body, whatever we phrase it, how much are you willing to invest per week into your goals? So we've got 150, so in Aussie dollars, 150, 200 and 250, and then we've got a box that says 0, I have no money to invest. And then there's another question that says, ask about the partner objection, like as in, are you the sole decision maker of this call today? Do you need your partner? Do you need permission from your partner? If so, please bring them on the call or find another time that suits, and all of that. So we ask those questions. So I think that whenever we send the form, and then when we hear back, we're like, oh, the form, they don't want it. It's the money thing. Or some of them will actually say, I don't have 150 per week, but the program is 203 a week. So
that's why you have it set around there. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? So what I always say to clients when it's looking at qualifying beforehand, so I'd always base, a few things. 1, how much availability that you actually have, and 2, the demand that's there. So someone with high amount of demand, low amount of availability, I'd qualify hard. Then if I had another client and they had, very low calls booked, they had a lot of like availability, I would say it's worth you just taking the reps and taking the calls.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that necessarily for you, because
we won't send it to business owners or anything like that. But a lot of them are stay-at-home mums. Yeah. So they're relying on their partner's income.
Yeah. I think instead of sending them the link, one of those questions could potentially be added into the DM process. So then because you're assuming, which is probably a fair assumption, but this is another reason why, like, if some of my clients are eventually like selling by like offer docs or whatever, that I like to not put the price in it. So they reply saying, hey, everything sounds amazing, can you tell me the price? Because if you include the price in there, they send it, they don't hear anything back. They're like, okay, did they read it? Did they like what they read? Or was it a price issue? You don't like, so like for you, when you send a link, it's like, okay, did they find a time that works? Did they even look at the link and check it out? Did they change their mind, or is it just price? It's harder for you to work that out. So if you add it into the DM process as a question and you get ghosted on that question,
how would you put the question?
So that's up to you. I would potentially look at taking a step back. I'm actually going to move here because I have it somewhere, which I'll show you. Kind of like what you said there, if you have high demand and low supply, kind of something that you're doing right now, which is like literally giving them the few options. So that's very similar to what you're doing. If you wanted to test something, you're like, look, because I want more calls booked, I'm happy to reduce this slightly, but I still want there to be a qualifying process in there. I would move it to one of these options. So one is literally just like looking for how ready they're to invest in coaching. So you're literally putting the words investing. So you're going to be investing. You want to see what the level of intent is like. So yes, you don't know their exact financial situation, but you at least know this is a lady who's serious, who is willing to invest in coaching.
When you ask that, they're going to be like, it depends how much it is.
Well, see, this is where the few options are. So
you're giving them multiple choice.
So I'm ready to take action if this is right for me. I'm open, but need to understand the details first. I'm mostly exploring, gathering information.
But how do you give them the option when you're talking in DM like that?
You just say like, out of the three, which
so you're actually writing them in the thing.
Yeah. You could keep it on the calendar link if you wanted to.
We don't send calendar link, we book it them for them.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
because then they'll never use it.
So that's just the form with the questions.
The form is just the questions, and then once they fill out the form, then we'll decide if we're going to book them in. Because we're going to book them in if they tick 0.
Fair.
Yeah.
Then I would definitely do this.
In the DMs, just we'll do like a saved reply or something.
Do you know what? I think there's like questions you can ask along the way of like, why is this important for you now? Have you ever invested into kind of coaching before? And if there's like a few red flags there around, no, I've never got like, if someone's like, yeah, I've had a PT for years, you're like, hey, they're paying for a PT in Oz.
Yeah.
They're probably, you know, they know what like, it's going to be a decent amount of money. So it might even be looking at the DM flow of like, if we ask questions of intent in there that don't seem as obvious in that, does that give us enough like buying signals that they're potentially good? So I think for you, in the position that you're in of like, I just want to be increasing calls, getting some momentum, getting some belief going, I would look, how can we strip things back? And then you slowly start adding qualification to it again in a better way. That would be my take on it. Mm-hmm. Because I think as well, you'll get to learn more with like more people jumping on the call. So that's quite a long process, like sending them a screening form, they fill it out, then you get back onto them about booking a call. So there's quite a few barriers.
We sort out the call. So what we do is we work out, so are you free tomorrow 4 p.m? Great. Okay, just so I can, we pretend that the form sends them the Zoom link, but it doesn't. We just say to them, just chuck your details in here, that'll send you the Zoom link. So then when we get it back, we'll just obviously send them the Zoom link once. So we do discuss all of that prior to the form, but we just pretend the form is there just for them to get the Zoom link.
Okay, fair. Do you have I know you don't have it probably with you, but just would your setter have how many links are sent of the screening form versus calls are booked?
How many forms she sends out?
Versus call. It'll be interesting to get that.
Well, yeah, way more because we get ghosted. Do you want to quickly ask her?
Yeah, do ask her. It'd be really interesting with my clients Emily and Ross. When we looked at the data, they had a call booking issue, but it was literally how many links were being sent. That was the issue. So when we removed the link being sent and just tried to keep it in the DMs, it improved things. So I'd almost think like, how can you just keep people in conversation? I'd be looking to add to like the conversation flow in a way that almost doesn't make it seem like very obvious that you're asking these questions, but how it can naturally flow in.
Yeah.
Like even something I love on a call, which I know you'll probably have this information beforehand, but if I'm like wondering about partner objection, does someone know you're on the call, or is this like a secret mission? So then it's kind of like a lighthearted.
At the start, you say this?
Yeah, like in the first few minutes. I'd be like, oh, like, is this like a bit of a secret mission for you? Or
like you keeping this confidential, or your partner know about you speaking to a nutritionist today?
Well, that's the extreme version of it, because that could almost get their guard up. So I try doing it in more of like a
jokey way.
That they don't really see what you're doing. So like, oh, is this like a bit of a secret mission for you? You know, wanting to like lose the 10 kg for September? Like, does your family, like friends, know that you're on the call today? And they're like, oh, to be honest, I'm just doing it for me. And we're like, oh, cool. Like, are you someone who like, this is just for you and you're happy to like move forward with things? And they're like, yeah, because you're asking them at a point where they don't realize what you're doing, but you're kind of like building that ammunition for it. So this just kind of goes back to urgency. So I obviously understand that from a financial perspective, but again, just like around the way of intent. So how important is it for you to make a change now rather than at some point? Very important. I don't want to say.
Yeah, we've got the priority question in there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think that would be.
So maybe we can look at the script together and go through what we need to change. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to go on to DM flow with you now. Okay, so we actually talked through new follower. So we have a new message there that we're happy with. For you now, we had a point of reducing qualification. This is what I would do, Nance, because for you might have kind of like frustration in the short term of a bad call. I would say we're going to reduce qualification for a month. We're going to add something into the DMs which shows like a buying signal and intent, but it's not going to be as specific. I'm going to do that for a month, and we're going to track the data. We're going to see the difference in call bookings, show up rate, closing rate, cash collected.
Yeah. And
if you're noticing cash collected is way up, I understand for you, you might be like, I don't want to be doing that many calls, or like going through that shit. But then I would just potentially look at hiring a closer in to help you.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, if we know we have traffic, obviously we're fixing a few things, if we have enough traffic coming in, we can book a lot of calls. There is going to be a bit of crap in there, which a lot of businesses have. But instead of qualifying so hard to miss out on a lot of opportunity, do I look to add someone in to help me with the calls?
Yeah.
Because it would have been the same for me with my fitness business. I'd have been at a point where I really didn't want to like take calls, but that was a sign for me. I'm actually outgrowing myself out of this role, and I don't want to hold the business back. I was like, I know if I get someone in who's excited and hungry to do this, I can just push as many calls because I won't have an emotional attachment to who's getting on the call as much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that could be something for you to, and then you could also do it in a way where if you were, let's say, to based on like the buying intent, you could instruct with your setter that there's a link for you, a link for a closer, and if you felt like really good signals on everything, they'll book in with you. And if there's like a few things that are like, it's hard to say, but like we still want to get her on a call, book in with your closer. And then you could also go, I'll take all the LinkedIn calls, I'll have someone else in to do Instagram calls. Like there's a few ways you could do it, but I definitely think that that's the evolution. If things change from like a content and whatever and ads perspective or whatever, and we end up demand increases a lot, then I think you're within your right to be like, I'm just going to keep qualifying this hard because there's going to be enough people to fill the calendar.
Yeah.
But when you're not, I would like look to loosen it and just kind of test and see how things go. Okay, cool. So this is something I wanted to bring up. So the interesting thing I saw with your DMs, Nancy, was I actually think you do way too much coaching in there, or like your setter does. So I almost kind of see it like a consultation style audit where you go way too specifically into asking them like a question here. So what does a typical day worth of eating look like for you at the moment? And then moving on to how much calories and macros. So those questions, in my opinion, if you want to challenge me on what you've seen, won't make any difference in terms of them moving forward. I know you might say it's like more rapport and it's more back and forth, but I actually just see the more back and forth you have, the less chance of them moving forward. Okay. And this gets very away from results and onto kind of like the logistics. And like if I'm speaking to a lead in my DMs, or if I have a client doing it, I only want to think about like the emotional reasons behind it, which I'll show you now in a second. I don't care what they're having, what they're eating. I don't care how many calories they're on. So I think you almost do too much of the coaching here. So I think that's a big thing for you to adjust with the DM flow. So there's nothing wrong in the questions in terms of like the way they're asking and building it, but I think you're missing out by coaching too much in the DMs. So if I was instructing with your setter, which we'll get into in a minute, I'd be like, for the month that we're moving into, I want us to offer more calls. So how many calls do we offer in thing? Let's say if it was it was like 2 a day. So let's say if it was 50, I want our goal to be offer 80 to 100 calls, for example, for the next month. And I want you to try get to offering a call in like 5 messages. I would just instruct that and just see the feedback and then change the flow of things. Because even like here, another good example for you. So she's obviously replied to transformation saying start, and then the first question is like, would you mind if I ask your current weight and height? So again, understand that, kind of like give you an understanding of them and where they're at. But I would very much be like, they've seen a result that they're inspired by, they have a result that they really want. I would be staying there as like the main point to work on. So I think maybe just from your, like even like with the dietitians working with you, you might have a very like clinical way of kind of like thinking and helping people, which is cool and it's great and it will get people results on the inside. But I would kind of save that for the coaching and very much bring the more emotional arc into the front. So
we have to change the first message from the AI because that's a keyword.
That's the AI.
And we have to change what that says.
Mm-hmm. And that, because like what I actually added in this screenshot here, so basically I love this type of content, and that's why I was saying I think it's a winner for you, and I think leveraging more of this. But you offered, it was basically like, if you want to learn what this client ate in a day, I'll send you a sheet on it. So the so if it's half 244, so 122 people who said, I want that. What I want you to understand is they don't care about the food that she's eating. They see this result and they say, I want that result. So the content isn't about the food. It's you saying, okay, there's 122 people who are inspired by one of my clients' results. How do we send them the thing, but then get them into like a strong conversation? So like, here's the cheat sheet, whatever. Out of interest, are you just interested in like a sample food? Are you looking for similar results like client's name?
Are you looking for similar results? Yeah.
You know, straight into.
So I should go under the keywords and the AI, and then when they say Danielle, because that's the keyword for that, then I'll be like, so glad you're inspired by Danielle. Are you after similar results to this?
Yes, 100%. Even maybe slightly different to the AI, but if people just like those posts, because 126 likes as well. So people liking a transformation, obviously a bit different here, but just because it's a keyword, but like any good result you put up, I love a message off the back of that saying, hey, really appreciate the support on Danielle's transformation. Are you just being supportive? Are you interested in similar goals yourself?
Yeah, that's something that we haven't done. We haven't done the likes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
They can work really well because it's almost, there's a clear reason as to why you're...
Even my transformation there, like she could go under the likes and stuff. Thanks for the support on my body transformation.
And why I really love that type of message is because everyone, human nature, if you're saying to someone that they're friendly or they're supportive, they're like, oh yeah, I'm really supportive. Everyone wants a good trait.
Yeah.
So that's why I like that message of like, hey, really appreciate the support on Danielle's transformation.
Yep.
Are you just being supportive? Are you interested in some similar results yourself? So you'll get a lot of people to reply because one they'll be like, oh, I'm just being supportive, it's inspiring to see, fair enough.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will be like, oh, like a bit of both. It's amazing to see, but I'd love something similar myself. It's a really good way to get into it. And then if you're noticing these to be working well, that's where I'd also look at like story sequences each and every week. So if it's kind of telling a story of like Danielle, so I can show you a story sequence flow, but like that Danielle 41 kg in 7 months, like there would be such a great piece of storytelling through that. If you could do stories are clear, you have like 4 or 5 posts where you're going through like a hook and going into like where she was, what she kind of worked on, where she is, with a CTA at the end of like especially with how many people view your stories, with a poll. Like,
do you like that you would go in on the poll and go, does this transform? Would you love a transformation like this? So something like that. Like interested in similar results like Danielle. Obviously that's a bit generic, but like just something around that, like that would crush for you. And I think story sequences are, funnily enough, like I was only having this conversation with someone yesterday. They're the one thing that they're quite time consuming. Obviously I know you could make it quicker with like, into Claude or whatever, but I think they're the one thing that's worth your time sitting down and going through it and like writing text on screen, saving them and doing a proper flow, because I think they can be like one of the biggest conversion mechanisms. Like I think if you actually put time, effort into a really good story sequence of storytelling, like let's say if you got 4 calls, 2 clients off it, you'd be like, I sat down, spent 40 minutes to create one, but I've made like 5k Aussie. Yeah, totally get that. Yeah.
So that will be, I can show you that in more detail. But what I would have here for like a DM flow that I'll get you to think about is, so first, if we're kind of like opening up around a desired situation, so like where someone wants to be, why now? I always love this question of like, okay, that's your goal of like where you want to be, but like why is it important to you now?
Why is it priority right now? Yeah.
And then we take it back to current situation. So what I would say is like, and why maybe not as many people are ghosting or not as many people are booking in for calls. The thing that's going to create the most amount of urgency for someone to take action is the bigger you can make the gap from where someone is to where someone, where someone is to where someone wants to be. So the bigger that gap is, the more someone is going to say that they, are ready to take action. So in the DM process on a sales call, that should always be the number one focus. Where is someone? Where do they want to be? Why is it important for them to essentially bridge that gap? And then what have they tried before? So why have they fell off before? And also, why isn't it working for them?
Yeah.
So if you can get clear on, they can see the gap, okay, this is where I am, this is where I want to be. And then they can say, this is why it's important for me. So they're kind of like urgency around like getting to that level, but then they can also see the need for your help because they're talking you through what they've tried before and why it's not working. So what's been tried, which I think you kind of add that, I think you have that in your DMs, and that can work well for the buying signal as well. Do you know, if you're wondering around budget and stuff, and we're reducing the qualifying there, getting an idea of like if they tried something before, and then mapping out a plan. So to be fair, your call offer message is something that I thought was pretty good. So would it be helpful if we jumped on a call tomorrow at the time suits best, that we can run over how I can best help you to lose 10 kg and get to feeling like yourself again? One slight difference, if you feel like there's some slight resistance to maybe the word of the call, I even a message that I like here as well is, so it's this guy, so 10 kg, getting to feel like more like yourself again. So if we were to put a game plan in place that would help you lose the 10 kg and get you back feeling like yourself again, is that something you'd be open to exploring? So it's not about the call itself, that hasn't even mentioned, it's the game plan of helping them lose the 10 kg. And if they have a pain point, so like feeling, is that like a Aussie word?
Wait. Oh, I don't even know what that is. Yeah, that's funny. I actually don't. It's not an Aussie word.
So let's say if someone said they had a wedding coming up in October, they want to lose 10 kg, but they just didn't want to, they have a few social things coming up, so they didn't want to miss out on that. So an example there is would you be open to exploring a game plan of how we'd help you lose a 10 kg for the wedding in October without giving up your social life on the weekends? See what if they say. And
then if they say yes, what would you then go in with? How would you offer the call then?
It would almost be assuming that.
Then you'd be like, great, you're free 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Basically.
Yeah, you just go straight into it. Yeah. Okay.
So with your follow-up message, I know, because I actually, funnily enough, my feedback on you changed the more I looked through some of your conversations. So initially I was going to say I think it should change completely, but I see it does get a good response rate for you. I think the one thing to consider with it does kind of drop authority slightly, where they might get back to you, but all of a sudden they're, like in this case, where they're trying to justify the reason for not. So I would more say, the way I get you to think about it is, especially in a call situation like this, they're lucky to get the opportunity for you to invite them for a game plan, and them signing up as a client won't change your life, nothing will change, but it has a huge ability to change their life.
Okay.
So I would make sure I'm keeping authority and status in this, and
so maybe only use, I hope I didn't say anything wrong, for another follow-up, not after a call booking.
Yes, yeah, 100%. I would very much keep it on the, this. Hey, now I'm curious if you'd be open to exploring this a little further. Again, very much like you said, you had this goal. I'm literally saying, do you want a game plan to do that? It keeps it very much centered on that part. Where I think the hope I didn't say anything wrong, just because again it has worked well for you, is earlier in maybe this discovery part of the conversation.
Yeah.
If you're kind of asking them, let's say quite a personal question of why is this important to you now? I think that it's fine in there, because it's quite
it's fine in there. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So yeah, that's one example for it. Another one that I like is hey Naim, do you think the roadmap would be helpful to help you lose the 10 kg ? Because it's just no one's gonna be no, I don't think it would be helpful. So it's quite direct, and even maybe for them, because I think a lot of times with sales in the DMs or on a call, it's getting them to shift their perspective. So sometimes we ask a question that they're like, oh yeah, I actually suppose it would be helpful. It might even be that second way of doing it. Booking process, we actually went through quite a bit, because I had that in. Was there anything? The main thing I had to say was about not sending them a link and manually doing it, but we've already highlighted that.
Yeah.
Was there anything else? No, I think that's fine. That we've kind of corrected that. Okay, so firstly, any questions or anything that you wanted to add on that?
No, how am I going to remember all of this to go back and like make changes to my...
Yeah, that's next up. Okay, so first, so I'm going to talk you through opportunities, priority, and then action plan. So opportunities are things that I see as potential things for you to do in the future that I think will leverage. So they're not like, I think you'll have immediate things with your setter that you can work on, but I also want you, so what I want you to think about is like the things that got you, like that have you where you are. I would be like, okay, when, well, I think this is just important to say anyway, when business is like testing you and you're kind of like being challenged at something, I would always look at like, okay, like almost take it like you're quite a competitive person, so I would almost use it in a positive way of like, okay, how am I going to like level up to this? So I haven't considered doing that before, but now I'm gonna. Or that's not something, like from a content perspective, I haven't thought of maybe a more specific strategy around it for my audience, but now it's something I'm gonna like look in and test out that way. So I would always see for you, when it comes to like challenges in business, how can you level up as a individual and maybe do things that you haven't done before or had to do before, and kind of get excited around that as well. So that would be number one, an opportunity of like your mindset around the way I would get you think. A few examples I would have for you on that would be YouTube. So YouTube will be some like long form, and you don't all of a sudden have to become like a vlogger or whatever. You mentioned having a videographer and doing content, like it literally could just be sitting down, and instead of your usual short clips, it's just a bit longer, a bit more in depth. Especially because you said you have a lot of people around kind of like medical conditions and stuff. I think if you sat down and you have some posts around like menopause and stuff, don't you? I think if you did like a 5-10 minute video around menopause, could be with a whiteboard, but doesn't also have to be, and you're just sitting down, it's a bit more educational. We can get the, always I think of the YouTube title to be very inviting for people to click on.
I don't even know how YouTube works as far as like you post videos and then how do people find you?
Well, you can do it, one, you can actually, to be fair, YouTube Shorts, so you can actually post all your reels from Instagram onto YouTube Shorts, which is like a new, like relatively new feature. That seems to be the way that's eliciting a lot of growth on channels. So that would be your way of kind of getting traction. Then they come onto your page and they see the long form videos. However, you could just get a long form video that like pops off naturally and get subscribers in from that way. But if you're then using your Instagram to funnel people onto the YouTube, like that's the main area I look at, because you're like, okay, everyone's on Instagram, I get a lot of people view my story. If I said I've just put up a video for women who want to do XYZ, click the link below, then 4,000 people see it, X amount of them click on it, they take value from it, they watch it, they might decide to subscribe. Also in the DMs, you could be like sending it out that way. Also, you can turn them into lead magnets, which is nice. So even though it's on your YouTube, you could do a reel about like, I've recorded a thing on XYZ, click below if you want it. And essentially you're only linking them to your YouTube, but it's kind of killing two birds with one stone.
Okay.
So that would be one thing. And like, you can kind of go into it, not a huge amount of like, oh, I'm going to be posting once a week. I'd just be like, is there like 4 or 5 different like educational pieces I could have done that I know that's going to crop up in the DMs, and it's like to send this to them. That's the way I would think about that. Secondly would be middle of funnel ads. So something you haven't ran before, but running stuff to your existing audience. A few different ways you can do this. One, you can do something which is like a really low ad spend, something we call the conveyor belt system, where essentially you're just running some of your recent organic posts and you're just ensuring they're going to get more reach and going to get you more seen to your audience. So the way I like to see it is almost like being top of mind consistently, and the idea of like omnipresence. So people click on Instagram and they just see you everywhere. They're just like seeing posts from you, stories are from you. The likelihood that your story views are higher is more. The likelihood that you're going to get more replies is better. If there's someone who's already in a DM conversation with you, the likelihood of them replying increases. The show up rate increases, the booking rate increases. So it's one of those things that it's like a invisible is the wrong word, but it's, you don't like directly see like this has helped, but you, over a month or two, you're like, oh, more people are replying, more people are booking for calls, closing rate is better, because they're kind of going back to that, like bingers are buyers, they're seeing you more frequently and more of your stuff. So if you can see where I've kind of gone with 2 of these things, It's very much how can we get people to trust you more, because that's essentially what we're in. We're in a trust recession. Do you know, people a few years ago could like just buy a lot quicker, and now there's more skepticism in this place. There's more trust needing to be built. People take longer to buy, but people take longer to buy. It's not actually because I need to be following you for 6 months. It's how much are they going to actually consume of you in 6 months. So what I say is like time on brand. So how much time on brand are they going to get from you? So if right now that's one reel and static post a day, if we add a YouTube into the mix, if we have some like middle of funnel ads going to them, all of a sudden now that time on brand massively increases. So this would be kind of like more long-term areas to be looking at. The other opportunity will be like trial reels on kind of using the 5.2 angle, and just not 5.2 exactly, but I'll send you a few examples of text on screen, and it's basically like algorithm, do your thing, find me ladies 5'2" and below who, you know, want to get in the best shape or something like that.
Yeah.
And things like that pop off. So basically the bigger kind of idea here is like positioning. So I'd be looking at things from a positioning point of view. So top 2 for kind of trust. Third one, can we get like unique positioning for you and do one that like really pops off? So testing things there from trial reels. I do think as well from a content perspective, something we call the Empire Cadence, which is very much having a monthly theme. So it'd be, so let's say if you just went all in on talking about like menopause for the month, so it's like the main topic. So that would be like one thing that I saw with the content, that understandably that you have a few different areas you help with, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I would almost see, is there a way where you kind of, so you're like, hey, for this month we're going to talk about menopause for the month, and you're going to, so the lead magnet that month is going to be about menopause. You might even do like a live.
That's what my friend Kim does.
Oh yeah.
She does monthly things.
And that's because she was on my workshop going through it.
Okay.
So she got that from me. So she was actually on.
I copy a lot of her reels that she does.
Okay, cool. So yeah, basically Kim was on the workshop we did for the Cadence, which, so basically it's like a 4-week structure where week 1 it's kind of like awareness on the topic. Week 2 you'll have like a specific lead magnet around it. So this would be a good time for you to
It's hard though, because I've already filmed all my content. I've got like 40 reels.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, that's why. Well, one, that's why I have it in opportunities for you, because I obviously know you're traveling and stuff this month, so I don't want you to get overwhelmed.
I'm just going to have it all scheduled out so I can,
Yeah, but I'm more maybe thinking, because I want you to put things in place short term where you're like, hey, this is going to fix things, but I also want you having like a growth mind of like long term of like, okay, when I get back from my European trip and I come back, I'll be ready, and you know, these are things that you'll consider. So third week is a workshop around that. And then also, I'm not sure if you ever do it, but kind of having like an open close. Would you ever like open coaching spaces on the front end where you actually like say, I know like they're always open because people can book in.
Like to work with me personally?
Or even the team, just like we've opened up X amount of coaching spaces.
I never really do that. No.
Never do that, cool.
No.
So even, funny enough, like the last 2 people I've invested in have both come from email, and I'm not saying it has to be email, it could be on Instagram as well, saying, hey, like we've just opened up our July intake, we have a few spaces. So that was someone's content I was taking in a lot of the time. If they DM me about something random, I definitely wouldn't have replied to them. But they like just put out an invitation, and I was like, oh yeah, good timing, I'm kind of interested. So I wouldn't under like value how beneficial that can be, of like we're literally actually opening up spaces for people to join. And what's better with the Cadence is when you do it specific to the workshop, it doesn't seem random. So what I think a lot of coaches do wrong is they'll just like randomly say, hey, we have like 5 coaching spaces open up, and it's so random, it feels kind of like generic and you don't get much from it. But if you, let's say all week you were talking about menopause, women over 40, etc., you did a YouTube on it, you had a lead magnet on it, you're just doing some reels around it, and then end of the month you said, we've opened up 6 spaces for women who experience XYZ and who want to achieve ABC. So now all these women who have been feeling seen all month have been like leaning in, have been in conversation with you. The likelihood of them like putting up their hands increases massively. And also there's like a cool thing you can be doing in the DMs where you offer the lead magnet to someone. So let's say a new follower comes in based on that content. You just try to have conversation with them. It dies out. You have the YouTuber lead magnet done. Hey, do you want this? They say yeah. When you send it to them, oh, we are actually running a live workshop next Thursday if you potentially want to join. Yes, sounds great. Send it to them. Then off the back of the workshop, we're going to be opening up spaces next week. But before doing it, we wanted to let anyone who've got the lead magnet or the workshop know. So there's almost this flow happening on the front end with your content, but there's also something happening in the back end. If that makes sense. So not to completely, not to like completely overwhelm you too much, but that's just me getting excited about like potential growth areas for you. And the main thing I get you to think from that, Nancy, is always, even when you feel like nothing's working or things feel like really far behind, hopefully even from just getting your brain going like that, be like, you know, you're never that far away from your next breakthrough. And there is a lot of things you haven't, you know, explored yet and experimented with yet. So yeah, that's long-term opportunities. Now bringing it back to priorities of what we want to be doing. So a lot around the DM. So one, removing link. So we'll just try keep it fully in the DMs. So I want you testing.
So I'll do the application form.
So that's the one for the Instagram buyer. Remove link, change with application form. Then the other link we want to remove, this one was the link that you send people in the DMs. What do we call it? Screening form?
Screening form, yeah.
Yeah, so I want us to test removing that and just putting the questions into the DMs instead.
So we can go through the script to then put in some of those questions in there so that we don't have the form. So we want to test that, right?
Yeah, definitely test that and just see. And again, the good thing with like anything with your sales process is you can test it for a week. If you're like, geez, closing rate is really down, like you can put it back in. But just based on where you're at, I'm like, can we just remove it and see what happens? So we're going to get more people applying because we've reduced the commitment on your page. We're removing the booking link into application form. We're going to have more people booking in for calls because we're removing the screening form. And
can you send me an example of the application, as in what I should put on there? Because I'll just do a type form up, a new one.
Yeah, I'll send you an example.
Yeah.
But as I said, I keep it like super. Again, I'm trying to collect the least amount of information where it becomes a barrier. And I just want to be able to send them a message on Instagram. So like if I know their goal and their Instagram handle, I'm sweet. So I'll do like name, email, just to be safe. Because
I'll do something on my story and write, guys, just to let you know, I'm no longer taking bookings directly into my diary. We are an application only business going forward. I will be only hand selecting, hand selecting who we feel is the best fit for the team. We want action takers and we want people that actually want to change their lives. So I'll phrase it in some way or whatever. And then I can put the application link in the story.
Yeah, works really, really well. And again, kind of puts you in a position of authority as well, saying the premium, and kind of it creates a bit of scarcity there.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so remove link to application form, remove screening form in the DM. So two things that I think will get more applications, get more booked calls. Other priority is just the DM flow. So we're going to change that to be way more like results-based thinking. So I'll obviously send you over the kind of few things that I jotted down, but kind of moving away from, it's really been in like quite a consulting, almost screening,
not too much coaching.
Way less coaching, way less information about specifics about them, and way more around where do you want to be, why is that important to you, where are you now, what kind of has you there, why is it important for you now, and what's the thing that's kind of like held you back, and then move into game plan. That's all you need. And I would say, to be fair, why you're noticing the ghosting, and people probably find that more enjoyable to like reply to and talk about. So yeah, that will be, so DM flow being an area there. So I think from a call bookings perspective, they're like three of the main things. And then obviously from DM flow as well, we have just change around the new follower message. We want to do a new message there.
Okay.
Also posts start messaging post likers.
So I can get those new follower outbound messages clear. We'll have 4. I'll
Yeah.
run them past you, and then Arifa will track the response rate for all of them.
Yeah.
And she'll send like 50 of each or something.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of followers now to come in
that's
to
true.
be able to send that many. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't have any ads
That's
at the
true.
moment.
So I'd be okay. So I actually
Probably
want
20 of each.
I want us to start with the. Are you just here enjoying the content? Are working towards? Are potentially looking for guidance on your fitness
we're
journey?
going to do the direct one.
Yeah, we're gonna go direct enough because it's direct, but it also gives them an option to say content. So I want us to do that. Minimum 50. If it's working well, I don't want to test it because I'm actually confident it will work well.
All right,
If
so
you're
we just do one direct. Are you here just enjoying the content, or or have you got some specific goals that you want to hit this year?
Yeah, and then then the difference will be if they're like, oh, I'm actually working towards goals, instead of kind of going into finding out about kind of calories and weight and height and stuff, we go straight into like, what does that look like for you? Where are you currently at? Like, what's that? So it's a way more kind of emotional.
So I have to
input for
change the script around this then, because then I have to feed it into the AI.
It'll be worthwhile.
Okay.
Headache, but worthwhile. Sorry. So one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to send you something we have called the 30-day cash flow catalyst, which is essentially going through all your like warmest leads in the pipeline, and you're going to dedicate basically, so you're going to have like money now blocks. So how I'd separate the day for you is you have money maintenance where you're dealing with clients, you have money later, which is kind of content creation, data tracking, dealing with the setter, etc. And then you have your money now, when essentially the only thing that matters for you is generating money for the business now. What you could look at there, if you feel like there's a lot of people who don't end up on a call and you think there's some opportunity there. Sometimes people think they have a lead issue. So sometimes you're like, okay, I have a lead, like it's a lead issue or it's a call booking issue. But sometimes it's actually not enough people seeing your offer. So is it actually, instead of a lead issue, it's actually an offer issue. So if you could still prioritize people getting on a sales call, but if they can't, we had like an offer doc to send them. So that's something I'd look at for you, just that we had more people in the month seeing your offer. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that is some of the main points. So for you going forward, I think a huge emphasis on building trust through long form video, running some middle funnel ads to your warm audience. You already have a big audience. So I think the mistake a lot of people make is like, yeah, Nancy, like you need new followers, At the end of the day, you have 35,000 people there. So if we improve our content with the cadence, as an example for when you're back and going to be filming again, and middle of funnel ads, like there's so much opportunity there. Then if we can be working on getting new people through and testing positioning angles in the trial reels, and then priorities for you is removing the link in bio for application form, remove screening form in DMs, is causing people to ghost. DM flow is the big one, which is going to result in less consulting and more building more of a reason as to creating more urgency for them to get on the call and make a change. New message for new followers, start to message post likers, and whether that's for transformations of you, for your clients, etc. And just to make sure we're kind of like building some momentum straight away, I'm going to send you a 30-day cash flow catalyst. How's that all sound?
It's a bit overwhelming, but yeah.
Do you feel from kind of like going through it that confidence there in terms of like, okay, even though things maybe I felt that, you know, I feel like I don't know where to kind of turn next or what to do next. Can you see like, okay, I can actually see there is a lot of opportunity?
Yeah, I definitely can. Yeah.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me that I want you to feel kind of coming away from this, I would see like, because like anytime, you know, if you've done it before, started with a new mentor and whatever, I feel it can be a bit over, even if it's exciting and you're excited, you know you're going to progress from it. We feel overwhelmed when we're getting going with something. So use that, have that feeling as something of like, okay, I can see that I'm gonna be kind of going to my next stage of growth or my next milestone. Because the worst side of that is like, I just have no clarity around where to go next or where to turn.
Yeah.
So see the shit, I actually have a lot to do as excitement of, you know, the next stage of the business for you.
Yeah. Sure.
Good.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely feeling motivated. I like being busy. I was just feeling a bit like lost before, whereas now I think just mapping it out, I feel like yes, there's work to be done, but at least we can tick off the boxes together now. And yeah.
Any final questions? Are you good? No?
No, I want to get obviously started on the form and everything today. I'll do the script. I'll go sit somewhere now so then I can feed everything to Aaron and get all that started. I'll do a story sequence as well today, get that on my story. I'll do a talking story telling them about we're an application only business and stuff, just to create something. Like not every Tom, Dick and Harry can join us and stuff, you know?
Yeah. And I always like you know, if you're using that, I would say like our business model is results. So we only work with people we know we can get results for, because then it kind of works two ways. It's not like, oh, like we might be too good for you as such, which it's more so like we're so confident in what we do, and like we care so much about results we get. We only work with people we know they can. So now people are like, fuck, that means if they say yes to me, they're confident they can get me results. So it's kind of like a strong
results
positioning.
only business. So we want to be confident that, you know, we can get results together.
Yeah. Basically. All right. Sweet.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.